Hey everybody, welcome back to Listography. Jason, Joe, and Kramzer here. And today we are counting down our favorite albums of 1989. So in music news in 89, James Brown gets sentenced to 6 years in prison for a police chase that he was involved in through 2 states. David Coverdale marries the girl from all the Whitesnake videos, Tawny Katane. Madonna's Like a Prayer video draws criticism from the Catholic Church, and Pepsi drops her as a spokesperson. This is the year that Ringo Starr starts his all-star band, which continues, I believe, to this day. Revolving cast of classic rock stars going around the country playing each other's songs. You've also got the Moscow Music Peace Festival in the Soviet Union with Bon Jovi, Ozzy Osbourne, Motley Crue, Skid Row, Cinderella, and Scorpions. Concert organized by music manager Doc McGee. Top songs of the year are Look Away by Chicago, My Prerogative by Bobby Brown, Every Rose Has Its Thorn by Poison, Straight Up by Paula Abdul, and Miss You Much by Janet Jackson. The biggest selling album of the year is Don't Be Cruel by Bobby Brown. On a more general picture of what's going on in rock at this time, really sort of commercial stuff happening, a lot of hair metal, a lot of that kind of stuff happening. Pump by Aerosmith is a big record. Trash by Alice Cooper. Dr. Feelgood by Motley Crue. You got Badlands, Skid Row, LA Guns. But bubbling under the surface of all of this is a lot of really cool kind of underground stuff that would be like the precursors to the grunge movement. You've got names like Soundgarden, Melvins, Nirvana, Pixies, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Nine Inch Nails, all releasing albums in 1989. So maybe the cool kids are in the know, but the general public is sort of blissfully unaware still that all of their favorite bands are about to be rendered irrelevant within the next couple of years. Lots of good albums in this year, so I'll let you guys get to your picks.
All right. I'll start it off. But a quick shout out to our cinephiles out there. 89, a great year for musical scores. Danny Elfman with Batman, James Horner, Field of Dreams, and Glory. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade by John Williams. A lot of classics, but we're here to talk about other stuff. I've got, it looks like 12 to 13 albums that I considered. So I'm going to just give my 5 and then throw out some of the ones that didn't make it before I get into my details. But my nominated albums are going to be Automatic by Jesus and Mary Chain. I've also got Stone Roses by the Stone Roses. I've got Doolittle by Pixies. And I've got Oh Mercy by Bob Dylan. But my winner is Pretty Hate Machine by Nine Inch Nails. Other albums that I was considering, so many good ones. Disintegration by The Cure, Full Moon Fever by Petty, The Real Thing by Faith No More, Technique by New Order. I like Bleach by Nirvana. I like a Prayer by Madonna, although I knew it wasn't going to make it. I wanted to throw it out there. Pretty underrated Stones record with Steel Wheels. I know a lot of people don't like that. Beat Happening with Whack Candy, Kate Bush, Sensual World. There's so many really good ones. Did I say Freedom by Neil Young? That's got to be up there as well. But I'm going with Nine Inch Nails, Pretty Hate Machine, by a hair over Stone Roses. Just because when I was really looking at the year, there were a lot of albums, like Jason was talking about, that kind of had a similar motif and movement that were awesome, like Stone Roses, Pixies, first Soundgarden album, first Nirvana record, and Pretty Hate Machine is in a world of its own. I mean, it draws from Soft Cell and New Order and Depeche Mode with sort of that, dark, seedy club feel, but this is in a category all of in itself. And he doesn't get enough credit as a singer. Some of his vocal performance on this album are amazing. You've got just a really cool blend of upbeat and somber stuff with that industrial sound, kind of not techno-y, but kind of like a techno style, a European style almost. Really cool soundscapes and just really good songs. Head Like a Hole, Terrible Lie. I love Something I Can Never Have, which is just really creepy and fervent, and Sin and Kinda I Want To. It's just got the whole album as itself is a really cool vibe to it and a really cool message about, these themes of sort of like master and followers and how we're all kind of part of this overwhelming capitalistic nature and, you know, pawns in a scheme and, you know, stuff like that has been covered before. But, you know, this kind of brought a more really kind of angsty warning sign sort of style to it. And I think it sounds great. I think maybe a little bit of a critique would be that some of the songs kind of have similar chord progressions of some of the other songs in the album, but I also think that kind of helps make the album feel like an entirety of a message. And I think you know, it's a pretty well-known record. It was definitely going to be in my top 5, but I think just because of how it stands out and how it's maybe even a little ahead of its time is why I'm picking it as my winner. But it was pretty razor thin and so many good albums. So Pretty Hate Machine by Nine Inch Nails.
Well, as Jason was mentioning in his intro, a lot of kind of the underground stuff, and then a lot of 70s heavyweights sort of giving it one last go before grunge takes them all out. But I love my list this year. Everyone's going to hate it. All of our viewers are going to be like, come on, man. You're really going to go with all these commercial records again. Everyone's going to love Kramzer's picks, but I am who I am. I don't have any of those indie bands on here. No Doolittle. Don't have Soundgarden or Nine Inch Nails or any of those other guys. But I have Nick of Time by Bonnie Raitt. Goes back to my childhood. Remember listening to this album in my car with my mom all the time. She really liked it, and it always kind of stuck with me. Kind of her comeback, her first like really big album, even though she's been around and active since the 70s. But she really kind of hit it big with that one. I have Full Moon Fever by Tom Petty. Another, you know, you have these 70s artists. I guess he's 70s and 80s, but full of hits. A really good album. Probably my favorite Tom Petty associated album. I think I like it better than his stuff with the Heartbreakers. I also have, let me go with Presto by Rush. One last hurrah for my boys. And Rush, I really like Presto, Show Don't Tell, Available Light. I think it's pretty underrated as a whole. And finally, a band from the 80s. I actually do have one. I got to throw on The Real Thing by Faith No More. I'm a huge Mike Patton fan, and this was his first one with the band, so it's still kind of him. You know, he's such a weird dude, so it's not like fully formed his weirdness yet. He kind of skirting by it. It's a little, there's a little bit of rap rock on it, a lot of funk, but the band is really cool in general. I really like Roddy Bottom's keys. Has a kind of real creepy sound to it. So it's a good album. And then here's a couple that almost made it that people really would have hated. Stormfront by Billy Joel, But Seriously by Phil Collins. I think Spike's pretty good. That's underrated. Doolittle I like, but not enough to make the top 5. Seeds of Love, The Raw and the Cooked, Sensual World, Kate Bush, just missing out. But my number one, they never made it in the 70s somehow, but Aerosmith with Pump. If you saw our Aerosmith video, you know I think this was my 3rd favorite after Toys in the Attic and Rocks. And I think it just sounds, you know, they'd already made their comeback, so they're already kind of back. So this wasn't like their comeback, but this I think is where it all kind of came together. They brought in a couple outside songwriters again, Desmond Child, and it sounds so modern and good to me. I don't think Jason likes the production. He can correct me if he's wrong on this one, but I just think it sounds. If this came out tomorrow, I would think, hey, it's a totally modern album. You know, it sounds really loud and strong and good to me. And I just think the songwriting's great. Janie's Got a Gun, The Other Side, Love in an Elevator, mixes that classic kind of dirty, gritty Aerosmith with kind of that smoother production. And I just think it's a really awesome album all the way through. What It Takes is probably my favorite of their ballads. And even like Young Lust and Fine, Monkey on My Back, My Girl, all just have this kind of energy that I really like. So it's the winner. It's kind of the last gasp everything changes very soon, but for one more year, I still got those classic 70s bands rocking in my top 5.
I did not see that coming at all.
I did. I knew it.
Oh, I had no idea. I wasn't sure what you were going to do because, like you were said, this isn't really your year for these kind of bands. I thought you were going to go Kate Bush, to be honest, but I wasn't confident.
No, I mean, I like the Sensual World a lot, but it's not quite in the Kate Bush zone that I really like. It's a little too straightforward, I think. But there's a lot of choices. I had like 10 albums ranked at least an 8, so it can all change, but that's what I'm going with for now.
All right. Well, I'll start by throwing out some that almost made my list. There were so many in '89, a really good year. Flowers in the Dirt by Paul McCartney, Nearly Human by Todd Rundgren, The Blue Nile with Hats, their sophomore album, Sonic Temple by The Cult, Mystery Girl by Roy Orbison, the debut album from Buffalo Tom. Oh, and also Gretchen Goes to Nebraska by King's X was close as well. But my 5 are going to be Candleland by Ian McCulloch, the first solo album from the Echo and the Bunnymen singer. Really cool album, kind of continues the sort of Echo sound. I've also got the Stone Roses debut, and I've also got Oh Mercy by Bob Dylan, an excellent sort of comeback record from him. Disintegration by The Cure as well. But my winner is going to be Doolittle by the Pixies. Pretty easily won it for me this year. It's kind of interesting. I haven't really had to think too hard about which record is the winner, probably since like '86. The last few years have been pretty clear winners for me. I love this record. In a way, when Kram was talking about how the 9 Inch Nails record really stood out, I think this record is really weird and eccentric and different, and it signals multiple different things that are on the horizon musically, from like the sort of loud, soft dynamics to the sort of more jangly pop stuff like with Here Comes Your Man. Frank Black is just a really cool and different sort of frontman that I don't think people have seen yet to this point in time. And I think the production on it is really great. Gil Norton comes in and does a great job. I think it really puts it over the edge in my mind with making it a stronger record than Surfer Rosa. I know not everybody agrees with that, but for me, this is my favorite Pixies record. I love it a lot, and it's an easy winner in a very, very strong year.
Yeah, I think I do like it more than Surfer Rosa as well, but you know, it's a 5 out of 5 for me. I think I've got about 7 albums this year that I would rate 5 out of 5, which would probably make it, other than a few other albums or a few other years from the 70s, one of my favorite years of all time so far. I think we had said that 84, or some of us said 84 might be the best of the 80s so far, but I think 89 takes it.
Not for me.
It's really, really close between 89 and 84. Yeah, I'd probably go 89 also, but we can discuss that in our recap video.
Joe, 1 week you're the man of the people, and then the next you're like, the hell with the people, I am who I am.
I can't get away from these 70s rock stars, man. They're tormenting me. I listened to all this stuff, and then just, I tried to get, like, Gretchen Goes to Nebraska. I was like, okay, maybe Doolittle. Maybe something new, something from the 80s. Other than Faith No More, nothing. But this is really kind of the last year, I think, for that. Everything pretty much changes in the 90s, and I will forget these 70s rockers eventually.
No chance after Presto for anything? Roll the Bones or Counterparts or anything? Not going to happen?
No, we're done with Rush for me. We're done with Aerosmith. We're done with Phil Collins. We're done with the whole lot of them.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the show. Leave your picks for 89 down below. If you'd like, take some guesses at where we're going with our 90 picks. It's the end of a decade, so we're going to have another recap week coming up like we did for the 70s, so stay tuned for that. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the bell so that you get notifications when new videos come out, and check the description for links to our social media accounts. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you next time.